What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Bros 2020 NASCAR Trucks and Xfinity Series predictions. We're here with Kesey and Cody. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
What's everyone doing? Kesey, I guess. I'm good with that name.
Howdy, I'm Cody. Nice to meet you.
All right. So you know Cody if you've listened to the Racing Bros podcast. And so we're just going to jump right into it. On screen, you see our round of 10 Truck Series predictions. I'll start with mine. We're just gonna go right to the 10, the entire truck grid. This is the standings I have them in or seated in going into the playoffs. So I think Christian Eckes will have the first seed, and I also predict him winning 4 races. I'm gonna put that out there right now. I have Brett Moffitt in the second seed. I don't have this wrote down obviously on there, but I do have Brett Moffitt winning 3. Stuart Friesen, I have him winning 2, and then Raphael Lessard, Johnny Sauter, and Zane Smith I all see winning 1, and then Grandin Finger, Ben Rhodes, Austin Hill, and Tyler Ankrum I see pointing their way in. This is a very competitive truck series, but I just don't see that many winners.
I'm not too against that. For my 10, I got Brett Moffitt winning the regular season championship and having the most wins. I didn't predict wins, but he'll be the first seed. I got Stu Friesen and Ben Rhodes, probably both getting around similar, probably 2. Crafton, Johnny Sauter, Austin Hill, Christian Eckes. I see all of them probably winning a race, and probably Tyler Ankrum. Maybe. And then Grandin Finger and Sheldon Creed to round out the top 10.
All right, and now Isaiah isn't here, so I'm gonna quickly go through his. I don't really know how many wins he predicted, but he does have Johnny Sauter as the first seed. Then he has Stuart Friesen, Matt Craft, and Austin Hill. Brett Moffitt, Grandin Finger, Todd Gilliland, which is a very surprising pick. Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, and Sheldon Creed. So his are actually way different than the first two. I like it. Some bold predictions. He sees Johnny Sauter having a really good regular season, apparently. And I do like the Ty Majeski and Todd Gilliland picks. It's really out there, but you never know.
No one else actually. Oh, I see Nick has Todd Gilliland. But so on mine, I had Brett Moffitt being the regular season champion, continuing after pretty solid season last year, even though he didn't win the championship. But I had him coming out with 5 wins. Then I had Johnny Sauter with 3 wins, and then I had Enfinger, Austin Hill, and Christian Eckes all getting 2 wins. And then I had Friesen, Creed, Crafton, Majeski, and Zane Smith pointing their way in with. I think it'll be a really tight points battle from about 9th through 12th will be tight all year long, but. So I think it'll be a very competitive truck series this year.
All right, I'll grab Nick's predictions. He's got Brett Moffitt first with Stuart Friesen. Bold prediction of Todd Gilliland third. You got Matt Crafton, Austin Hill, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, Johnny Sauter, Grandin Finger, and Sheldon Creed rounds out his top 10.
Yeah, I like the Ty Majeski and Todd Gilliland picks a lot. I noticed looking at this, we're not going to stay too long in the round of 10s, but I'm pretty sure everyone has more faith in Hattori Racing and Austin Hill than I do. I know he almost made the round of 4 last year, and if he would have made the round of 4, he would have won the championship because he won Homestead. But I don't know. I don't see him. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't see them.
I just think he can win at mile and a halves, and I think that's key.
Wasn't he in position to point his way in until he got wrecked out at Martinsville by someone else's mistake? If I remember correctly, he was in a position to move on to the Final 4 and then got wrecked out by somebody. So he's someone not knowing how to drive away from being the champion. I think they have a good year this year.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. I see him finishing the regular season at least not as strong. So.
Do you think he'll get hot in the playoffs?
I have a couple of things I want to say just for the top 10 and who doesn't make it. I think it's bold for the Todd Gilliland pick personally. He definitely underperformed last year, and he's going to a team that I honestly think won't be as good as KBM. And I just don't see him gaining more speed and skill to outrace that equipment, if that makes sense. Yeah, he obviously already had a bad year last year and was kind of really underperforming. I don't see him completely overachieving in a worse car.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's why I didn't put him in my top 10. I do think it's very interesting that I am the only one, it looks like, that has Raphael Lessard in their top 10. I have him in 4th in the regular season. And I'm looking at it, and I don't think anyone else has him.
I feel like I'm kind of going off of recency bias with KBM, but I'm not sure that I trust them at the moment. I know obviously that both Burton and Gilland are not there anymore, and it's a completely different lineup. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe KBM's not the it dog in terms of the truck series. Also, they have these guys are all young. It's all their first really opportunities. I don't know that I don't really see them coming out and completely dominating.
I
I didn't think
noticed Isaiah. I'm sorry, Cody,
Lassard
go ahead.
was all that. I didn't think Lassard was all that impressive in his 5 starts last year. He only had an average finish of 11.2.
He was running really well at Bristol, and I'm pretty sure he got dumped. You were there for that, man.
I don't think he got dumped. I think he just fell to the back.
No, he definitely got spun. I'm pretty sure.
I
But
don't remember
I
that.
do notice Isaiah and Nick don't even have a KBM truck in their top 10.
That I think is wrong. I think a KBM truck will definitely like someone's going to take their or what would be the word like put themselves out in front in KBM, and I think all the resources might start piling behind him. I think it's Christian Eckes. I don't think it's Rafael Lassard.
Doesn't Christian Eckes have Rudy Fugle as his crew chief?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, he has Rudy Fugle, and
that's-
he also
That
was
alone
much.
puts him in the top 10 for me.
I think the other thing with Eckes is he was more impressive coming into the trucks. Like Lassard did really good, and I think it was late models, but in other stuff he didn't really blow the waters off. Where Eckes won the ARCA championship with 4 wins and 13 top fives. So I think I think he's gonna have a really good year. Without and then on the Todd Gillen, like what Kesey was saying, is he was in, not to dog on him, but like he was in like the best equipment and he didn't even make the playoffs. I think it's bold to have him as a top.
That's why I'm thinking like I think it's bold to put him in the playoffs right now. Maybe I mean if he shows some improvements this year, then I can definitely be like, yeah, I think I can put him as a top contender next year, but not this year. He doesn't show me anything that proves that he can contend like that.
The only thing I will say to defend Todd Gillen is if the Truck Series wasn't handing out waivers, they were hotcakes, then he probably would have made the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because, I mean,
Anchor Manchester.
Yeah, and then so that's 2 guys that should have been above. So in
I'm
theory,
pretty sure Burton and Gillen would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, if they didn't hand them both out, I believe they both would have made the playoffs if they didn't keep handing those out. So not to like, so I get that he didn't make the playoffs. So, but that's there, you know. So
I'm also I'm surprised to see Ty Majeski up here. Like I know he's been in and around the top 3 series for a while, but like he really hasn't been that impressive. I know it was a Roush car that he was in for a long time, but he really wasn't that impressive in Xfinity.
In ARCA last
year, ARCA starts,
good.
He had an average finish.
Yeah, I know he had a
2.0,
better
3
season in
wins
ARCA.
And 6 top 5 is a worst finish.
The competition is harder up here. I'm just I don't trust him yet. I need to see like if I'm gonna put you in playoffs, and you need to at least have shown me that you can at least get there and be consistent for a season.
In 6 races, his average was 2.0. That I know it's not a lot of races, but in 6, when your average is 2.0, that's pretty impressive. And he's going into the the runner-up car from last year. So I think that's why a lot of people have high hopes for him. And I think he finished 13th at Phoenix when he was running the 44 truck last year. So I know it's not like lighting the world on fire, but I think it was his first start with a team, and he was running top 10, top 15 all night.
All right. I think we stayed on the round of 10 for a long time, so let's move on to the round of 6. The 6 drivers I have advancing into the 6 drivers I have advancing from the round of 10. Go Christian Eckes, he is still the top seed. Then you have Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen. I have Rafael Lassard making it to the round of 6. Zane Smith and Grant Enfinger. And the 4 I have not making it are Johnny Sauter, Ben Rhodes, Austin Hill, and Tyler Ankrum. And I quickly want to point out why I don't think Ben Rhodes or Johnny Sauter will advance. Specifically those 2. The first race of the second round is at Talladega, and Ben Rhodes always gets destroyed at Talladega. I don't think he's ever finished a Talladega race, man. Like, it's rough. So, I think that alone is going to knock him out. And you have Martinsville and Phoenix. You have Las Vegas, then Talladega, then Martinsville. So, I don't know. Ben is pretty good at Las Vegas, but unless he wins Las Vegas, I don't feel good about his chances of making the final round. Johnny Sauter, he was decent last year, but man, I don't know. I think he's a little bit past his prime. And then Tyler Ankrum and Austin Hill, like I mentioned earlier, Austin Hill. And Tyler Ankrum, I don't know, man. GMS is good, but I don't know. Compared to the others, he's on the outside looking in for me.
Well, I have Brett Moffitt, Stu Friesen, Crafton, Johnny Sauter, Austin Hill, and Tyler Ankrum all moving on. I have Ben Rhodes, very similar to what you said, getting caught up in Talladega and then just not performing at the other two tracks to move on. Christian, it's just his first playoff run. I don't see him going too deep. Grant Enfinger is always a guy I feel like can make playoffs, but has done nothing to really show me that he can move anything past that. And then Sheldon Creed was kind of the last addition into the playoff field for me, so I didn't have any. I don't really trust him moving past the first round.
So, hang on, can I just mention something real quick?
You can go for it.
The whole Grant Enfinger thing. You remember he did win the regular season championship last year, and only got eliminated from the playoffs because he blew an engine at Vegas.
I was just about to say that.
So like,
he was in by like a ton of. He had a whole race to spare, but I guess not really. But he was still within a couple points, and it wasn't even his fault.
Yeah. Right, you can finish.
What else? I think. Well, I'm against the Sauter elimination just because I feel like last year that team it's like a startup team at that point, right?
No, he was with ThorSport.
Sauter?
No, but that 13 truck like literally didn't get any off season. Like they started like 2 weeks before the season started.
No, he replaced Mike Snyder. The 13 ran in 2018.
And then other than that, I mean, I think Brett probably wins a 1, maybe 2 in that round, and then yeah, that's about it. I don't have any much more to say about that one.
All right, we'll quickly knock out Isaiah's. As I mentioned in the last round, I don't know any of his stats for the Truck Series. I just know the order he has them in. So he has Johnny Sauter being a first seed. So far, we're 3 for 3 on first seeds, 3 different ones. I see that's about to change big time, but then you have Stuart Friesen second seed. You have Matt Crafton, Austin Hill, Brett Moffitt, and Todd Gilliland. So he has Todd Gilliland going pretty deep. Who he is not making it to the round of 6. He has Ty Majeski, Sheldon Creed, Ben Rhodes, and Grant Enfinger. So far, everyone's had Ben Rhodes making the playoffs, but not making it to the round of 6 or the second round.
I'd like to point out that Grant Enfinger ate. What the heck?
Yeah, I had him still being a 6th seed, man. Everyone else is just giving up on him. He's a past Talladega winner, too, so.
Yeah, he's getting kind of slept on by the bros here.
But
did you want me to go into my?
Yeah, I don't really know any of his mindset there, so I'm just going to read out his picks.
So, the seeding that I have, the 4 out, I have Sheldon Creed, Matt Crafton, Ty Majeski, and Zane Smith. I think a big thing is going to be the playoff points here. So, a lot of those guys that are saying between, like, I think I said between 8th and 13th, and whoever makes it in, even probably 7th and 6th, they're going to be at a heavy disadvantage when it comes to playoff points if as many of the drivers win as I think will win. I think in the Vegas race, I think Brett Moffitt will win the race, but I think it'll be a tight battle between him, Austin Hill, and Christian Eckes. And then for Talladega, I think Johnny Sauter wins Talladega to avenge last year when he went below the yellow line. I think that'll be a big thing for him to avenge that race, so I think he'll win. And then the Martinsville race, I actually I don't think anybody in the playoffs wins that race.
Really?
I think it'll be something similar to this year where we had Todd Gilliland winning it. I think you have a bunch of competitive trucks that are going to be eliminated that I think will come to their own towards the end of the year that didn't have a good regular season. And I think a lot of these guys are really good on the short tracks. That's where they started. So I think you'd see like a guy like Rafael Lessard. I don't have him even making the playoffs, but that could be a point where he takes his whole year, he puts it together, and he wins a race.
Noah Gragson from 2017, basically.
Yeah, exactly. How you take your whole year, you put it in. I think Derek Kraus is another one who could probably compete there. They're going to be having support from Hattori because I think that team will do better towards the end of the year. I think a lot of these rookies will start to do better as they get towards the end, and I think Martinsville will accumulate all that because it's kind of back to your roots racing, and that's kind of where they started. The main reason I had those 4 out was just the lack of playoff points and gain throughout the year. I think those guys will all run between 7th to 15th or 6th to 15th, so they won't be getting a lot of playoff points throughout the year.
All right.
All right, and then we got Nick's predictions. He has Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Todd Gillen, Matt Crafton, Austin Hill, and Ty Majeski moving on, with Ben Rhodes, Johnny Sauter, Grant Enfinger, and Sheldon Creed all being eliminated.
So I find it interesting that 3 of the 5 have Brett Moffitt as the first seed after the round of 6, after the round of 10, which is a very opposite of a bold pick. But Isaiah has him back as a 5th seed and man, these two, they still have Todd Gillen going pretty deep, 6th and 3rd seed right now.
They must have a magic 8-ball for him or something.
It's gotta be. It's the only explanation I will receive at this point.
I just realized, I think I'm the only person with Ben Rhodes not making the playoffs here. I didn't even have him in my top 10.
Man.
Yeah, everyone else has Ben Rhodes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have an off year. Not to go backwards, sorry, but...
Nobody had him even in the top 6, so, like... Some of us have faith in him. Like, he used to be my favorite truck driver. But lately, it's like, how many more seasons does he got? Like, how many more opportunities?
Actually, I only brought it up because I wanted to say bold take. I think this is last year in the trucks. I think he loses his ride at the end of this year. And I think he just has a terrible year, and he loses his ride.
But I would hate to see that, but honestly, at this point... let's head to the trucks final 4. Excuse me. So, I still have Chris Neckis, just straight up, no competition at this point. You have Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, and I have Zane Smith making the round of 4, the final 4. And I want to quickly point out, whenever I was doing my 10, I didn't even have Zane Smith in there. Excuse me. But as we went through the rounds, I just didn't see a race that I thought he would perform so badly at that it would ruin his chances. And he just found his way into the final 4. So I have Rafael Assard and Grant Enfinger getting eliminated. The rookie French-Canadian went pretty far. And then Grant Enfinger, the farthest he's gone, but I think it's too much, man. Those 4 drivers, other than Zane Smith, so I guess the other 3, it's a really stout competition, and I think Zane's gonna be able to contend.
Can I ask you a question real quick before we go too far?
Yeah,
do you think Eckes is like the best ABM driver since, like, do you compare him to Bell in the trucks? Is that what your comparison kind of is?
More so Eric
seem like
Jones.
You're very high on him.
Yeah,
Eric
he's
Jones,
very similar to Eric Jones.
Because I see you have him highly touted, so figured I'd ask.
Yeah, I like him quite a bit.
Alright, well, I have Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Johnny Sauter, and Austin Hill going to the final 4. With Crafton getting eliminated, I think he probably gets involved in a wreck. And I think Hill sneaks in, and then Tyler, I think, is the weakest of the 6 that I had. So I think he gets eliminated as well.
So Ankrum getting knocked out in the round of 6 2 years in a row?
Yeah.
Alright. Is that all you guys say?
Yeah. I don't got much more to say, honestly.
Alright, then we have Isaiah. He has Johnny Sauter continuing his drive for his 2nd championship, and Stuart Friesen still 2nd. Matt Crafton, and then Brett Moffitt making the final 4. He has Austin Hill and Todd Gillen making it out. So Todd Gillen's Cinderella season with Front Row Motorsports ends prematurely in the round of 6. But that's a lot further than... Never mind, that's not a lot further than anyone else has him. Okay, Cody, go ahead.
I had Brett Moffitt, Johnny Sauter, Grant Enfinger, and Austin Hill moving on. For me, it was tight between Austin Hill and Christian Eckes. I think I had Stuart, when I was writing him up, I had Stuart being my one guy that I felt was a easy cut for me. I just don't think the schedule lines up good for him. So I had Hill over Eckes just because of the experience. I think last year Hill, like we were talking about earlier, didn't advance to the Final Four. He would have won the championship had he advanced, and he had a lot of tough moments that I think really helped develop a driver. And he was kind of aggressive, if I remember that last round correctly. So I think taking a year back, that was his first year in competitive equipment, So I think he'll take that year. It'll make him a better driver and a bit more patient. And I think that'll really come into play. And I think that's how he gets in. And then Brett Moffitt, I think he'll win the regular season play. So he'll have enough points off that, and I think he'll win the most races. So I think he'll easily point his way in if he doesn't win in. And then I think Sauter and Finger will win in somehow.
All right, I like it.
All right, then we got Nick's predictions. We have Brett Moffitt, Stuart Friesen, Todd Gilliland, and Matt Crafton all going to the Final Four with Austin Hill and Ty Majeski being eliminated.
So Nick has Todd Gilliland finishing or advancing into the Final Four with Front Row Motorsports equipment. Then he has the
now,
defending
is that DGR
champion.
Crossy equipment? Like, are they aligned?
I'm pretty sure.
So is it one of those things where like they're giving them a DGR truck and slapping Front Row names, or is Front Row building the trucks? Do you have any idea?
I'm not sure. I want to say I saw something on Twitter earlier that Front Row was using a DGR hauler for Daytona.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like there's a huge technical alliance there. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll have a better year than I thought if that's the case. If it's pretty much a DGR truck, because if it's not like they're new to the trucks, where if it was Front Row completely new, that'd be insane.
Yeah, I still think it's slightly insane, just because Todd Gilliland, as mentioned earlier, he couldn't do anything in the best truck equipment of all time.
Yeah,
like,
easily.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, man. KBM is the best it gets when it comes to truck series of all time. I don't think you can name anyone better. You are ran by Kyle Busch. Any secrets he has, you have access to. Like, you have the best of the best equipment. The best of the best TRD is better than Chevy and Ford's development in trucks, that's for sure. He was in the perfect situation, and he won one race in 2 years. He came close a couple times, but I don't know. I think taking that step back, him somehow improving, is just, I don't see it happening. But, yeah. So, let's head on into our championship predictions for the truck series. So, surprise, surprise. I clicked the wrong thing. Surprise, surprise. I have Christian Eckes winning the championship. I don't really see him missing it. If you watch the races, or I am losing it. If you watch the races he ran last year, he should have won a couple. Gateway comes to mind. He got wrecked, and he had led a crap ton of laps. I think that's Gateway, wasn't it? He led a crap ton of laps, and he got wrecked and backed into the fence. And he just had a bunch of situations like that. If you watched him in ARCA, he's calm, cool, collected. He's consistent. He just doesn't really make a lot of mental errors. He drives way beyond his years, and I don't know. I don't really see him losing it. But that's just my opinion, obviously. My prediction.
I have Austin Hill winning it. I don't know. I see a year for him that'd be pretty good. I think he gets like 3 to 4 wins and then comes into Phoenix and just grinds out a victory, if that makes sense. Like, he's probably not the best truck all day in the race, but he just right strategy, right place, right time.
Kind of like Crafton this year, right?
Yeah, in a way, but I think he has a better season than what Crafton had this year, than the previous year. Like,
I was just talking about like the championship race.
Yeah, but in the championship, I think he just everything goes right for him, and that team just makes all the right strategy calls when it's needed, and he just performs exactly to what is expected of him, and goes out and just maybe not wins. He could get like second or third, because the truck series is really good this year to the point where I don't think a champion will be the winner. I think that's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Especially with this rookie class, I feel like these guys can turn it on towards the end of the year. Some of these eliminated dudes, or guys who didn't even make the playoffs for me, could probably win this final race of the year. And but I still think the champion will be Austin Hill.
That'd be a great story because of just him grinding through the not so great trucks to get his shot, and everyone kind of was irritated when he got the ride over Moffitt. And it would be, but I mean, he kind of did it the right way, so I like that pick a lot.
All right, let's move on to Isaiah. He has Stuart Friesen. So if you know Isaiah, you'd think that might be some potential bias, but he did explain his pick very well. Who is the defending winner at Phoenix?
Yeah,
Stuart Friesen.
Yep, Stuart Friesen won Phoenix last fall. And it wasn't a fluke; he had earned the win. He's honestly, 2020 is going to be a breakout year for Stuart Friesen. He's always been known as a guy who can't clutch it. He's always he'll lead a race and do something stupid. He'll spin. He'll hit the wall. He'll back into the fence. He just chokes it. He'll come in second. He just can't close the deal. And honestly, this is Isaiah's pick, but I'm going to speak for him. I personally would not be surprised if Stuart Friesen comes out there and wins 5 races this year.
I would be.
You think so? You don't think he's going to win 5?
No.
Dude has like 15 second place finishes.
How many? Doesn't he only have the 1 win?
No, he won Eldora as well.
He won Eldora and Phoenix, but before Phoenix, Eldora was his only win, right?
Yeah, his first one.
Yeah. I don't see 5 wins, but it's possible. It's for sure. It's possible. I don't see it.
So while you're on the roll, why don't you explain your pick?
I think Brett Moffitt. Like I said, I think he's gonna have 5 wins this year. I think he before entering the playoffs. I think he's just starting to get into a role with GMS. They're the best team. I didn't say this when you were talking about KBM, but I think GMS has been the best team the past few years. I don't know if that's because KBM hasn't had the best drivers, but I think GMS has been pretty solid. I think he just avenges last year because I felt like he was probably the best truck most of the year last year, and he was my favorite to win the championship. I thought it was like a lock, and when Crafton won, I was like, oof, that's tough. But I thought it was between Brett and Ross Chastain, and then I was wrong. It happens. But I think he gets revenge this year. He goes out and gets another championship. Looks like Nick agreed with me.
You say Nick also agrees with you. He also has Brett Moffitt winning. Again, we don't know his win totals or why he picked him. We just know that he does think Brett Moffitt will win the championship.
I don't know if I want to be associated with Nick.
So that is the Bros Truck Series predictions. Hey guys, Future Me here, and I want to quickly say, because the video was too long, we're going to split the Trucks and Xfinity predictions up into 2 videos. Trucks going up late tonight, Friday night, Xfinity going up tomorrow on Saturday, and then Cup will go up Sunday morning before the Clash. So, thanks, bye!